I downloaded these plans for a UH-1 helicopter from the internet. It's from Lloyd's Toy Plans. He has an Etsy shop, so you can purchase his plans there and download them immediately. These plans cost me $8 and change, so not bad at all. And there's about 50 pages to this set. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. That'll be the first time I've made anything from this particular vendor. A couple of parts are very long, so I had to tape two pieces together, and that's an easy enough task. Now these are going to be, it's going to take part number two, and you need two that are a ½ inch thick. So I prepared some ½ inch thick stock, but what I'm going to do is this is going to be a little less than 3.5 wide. So I'm going to take this wide piece of ½ inch stock to the table saw, rip two pieces at 3.5 inch wide each, and then I will tape them together and stack cut the two. Now, this is one of those places where double-sided tape comes in handy. I've got the pattern on, and as you can possibly see here, the distance between the edge of the table and the blade is several inches. That's going to make cutting this easier. I could have cut these individually, but two things. Number one, obviously you can cut two in about the same period of time. It'll take a little bit longer to begin with having 1 inch thick wood rather than ½ inch. But the other thing is, besides saving a little bit of time, we'll want two pieces that will be exactly the same shape, because they were cut, they're stack cut. That's it. There is the first of the parts. That's part number 2. I have a need here for 2 of part number 3, and they're 3/8 inch thick. I had some 3/8 left from another project. These are the 2 3/8 pieces from stack cutting. The procedure is the same, the only difference is they're much smaller, and we got 2 3/8 pieces rather than 2 ½ inch pieces, so the total thickness is only 3/4, and it's funny how much faster the number 9 blade cuts 3/4 compared to 1 inch. My rule of thumb is that's the limit for a number 9 blade is 1 inch. Between 3/4 of an inch, depends on the wood. This is poplar, so it's not real hard. If I was cutting on maple, I'd probably be using the number 12 blade on that 1 inch. go. Alright, the last one I'm going to do tonight is there's 2 1/4-inch parts. So I did just like I did on the others and used double stick tape to get 2 1/4-inch parts together. That's it. I know there's going to be a cut for that door and these windows. That one I'm not sure. I'm going to wait until tomorrow to continue on with this one. Alright, doing the first of the assemblies on this helicopter. It's a very clever design, I think. And so I took the part number 1, which is the middle, and a number 2, which goes, well, one goes on the left and one goes on the right. And so I attached 1 for now, and got some spring clamps on there. I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, and then after I know that's settled somewhat in place, then I'll put the number 2 for the other side, and then once that's done, I'll put the next level and so on. So I'll show you as it goes along. But this is about 19 something inches long, and there we go. It's going to be, I think there's a lot of detail in it, and I think it's going to be a very cool item. But I'm ready for the next layer here. I think what I'll do though is while I'm waiting for that, the doors go on the side here, and I can do those with a couple spring clamps, so I'll do that. Now what I got to make sure I do is remember these are mirror images of each other, so got to make sure make sure they both have the doors on the outside. So let me do it this way, because that'll be the outside here, that'll be the outside there. Yeah. That's the kind of thing that can mess you up if you're not paying attention to little details. Got this side, and that's going to be, yeah, that's one more check before I put the blue on. So that's those 2, and I'll put some little spring clamps on those. Alright, I put the seats in. It was obviously going to be a lot easier to put them in before I put on the sides, the last part of the sides. So here's the first layers to the UH-1, and then this one, which I glued the door on yesterday, that's going to go on here, and that's what it will look like from the side. The UH-1 is done. I've got some camouflage color paint here. There's not a lot left in this skin, but I bought another. And I'm wearing a mask, which you should do when you're painting. Right. You got a Lazy Susan so that I can turn items around. I deliberately left the rotor off. I thought if I painted it and in place, it's possible to paint might dry and make it difficult to spin, so I'll paint it separately. When I'm done, I'll glue it in place. coat. This dries fairly quickly. I'll be able to come back in a couple hours and put on a second coat. I'm going to have to flip it over and paint the bottom too. There's the completed UH-1. It was a very interesting project. There's a lot of detail to this. I've made a UH-1 toy before. This one I would consider more of a model than of a toy. If you look, you'll see that there's an actual door on the side there. The rotor, of course, spins, and the tail rotor spins as well. There are a couple of seats inside. I made them out of wood. The plan showed them as wood sides and cloth back and seats. I just wasn't something I felt like doing myself. And there's a little bit more of a close-up of the front. We'll go in here, show that. The light's not very good here, but there are two seats for the pilot and co-pilot. So there's quite a bit of detail. But this is, I would recommend this if you like to make models of cars, trucks, aircraft. There's enough detail to make this fun and interesting, but not too much as to become overwhelming. It was cleverly done the way the sections were put together so that you have the detail in the inside of the aircraft itself. Leave me a comment if you have anything you'd like to say about this model or this video. Give me a thumbs up, and please hit subscribe if you'd like to see more videos.